This Seed Starting Moment series is about the whys and some of the hows of my seed starting story. The number one tip that you're going to hear throughout this whole series is keep it simple and stay out of the rabbit holes. Whether you dream of being a flower farmer or you just want to grow flowers for your kitchen table, I'm Lisa Mason Ziegler. I'm glad you're here. Let's jump in. All right, friends, welcome back to Seed Starting Moment number 5. This is about caring for your seedlings, your indoor environment, what you're going to give these guys to keep that strong sprouting we know from, I believe it was, what number was that? Number 3, if you've missed any of the moments, there's a total of 7. In moment 3, we talk about how the sprouting sets the pace for the rest of your plant's life. Then all the steps that you can take to enhance that. So let's talk about your environment. Number 1, we use grow lights. That allows me to do all my seed starting in a building. I did it in my kitchen, in my pantry for the first few years of my flower farm because I kind of tweaked soil blocking into a tabletop method using grow lights. So the grow lights themselves, I prefer to use T12s, T8s also, if you can find them. What I find with them is that first off, they can be right on top of your transplants, which means you can have more shelves in your shelving unit if you're a flower farmer and trying to grow as much as you can in one single footprint, as well as the T12s give off just a smidgen of warmth, and I definitely think that benefits my transplant. So we have our grow lights on a timer. They really need 16 hours a day for that short, stocky, dark green plant. And we all think we're going to remember to turn them on and off, but we don't. My literal entire grow room has a big electrician installed timer on it. So I don't have to even worry about that anymore. My lights go on at 6 a.m. in the morning and go off at 10 p.m. at night. Light is huge. And that also helps the plants to take up all that water, right? And it helps the blocks to dry out. So we have to water. What I recommend is watering each and every morning. That is the first job of the day. And I will also say that I am so not a helicopter parent seed starter. I go into my grow room, and when I come out into this building in the morning, I go in, take care of everything, water everything, move things that need to be moved. And I don't go back to that room until the next morning, right? And that room gets really warm. It's a 10 by 10 southeast facing room that has a lot of windows. The windows only contribute to warming the room up. It doesn't really provide any light to my plants. That's why they're under grow lights, right? And so that room gets really, really hot. I mean, like we top out, we have to open the door to cool the room down when it starts hitting above 95 degrees in there. And I still only have to water once a day, friends. So watering each morning, be sure you're watering thoroughly. And you do that by being sure you pour enough water in. After I've watered all my trays, I go back, I take a peek at each tray. If all the water's gone, I question, did I put enough? I might add a little extra more. If there is water sitting in the tray, I pour it off. I always want to have just a smidgen of water present, no standing water. That tells you your blocks are completely moistened. Be sure the one's in the middle. And if you do that, I find that the next morning they're just ready for more water. All right, they have to get that drink, and then they get lots of oxygen. So people often ask in their environment, what do they do about fungus gnats? Fungus gnats, unfortunately, are those little tiny gnats that fly around that you find whenever there's moist soil present. First off, it is really a problem when you have constant moisture, which you don't want to have, right? They're another sign of a really ongoing constant moisture problem. But fungus gnats, even when you're doing everything right, are a problem. So we follow a prevention program. And that prevention program is that every once a week in my watering can, when I'm doing my watering duties, I include Natrol, which is a BT. It's a larvicide. We water with it because the larvae of fungus gnats the eggs are laid and they live in the soil to be born and then to fly around and create more babies. So we prevent it. The minute my grow room has a soil block in it or a tray, and if you're seed starting in a home and you have house plants, you definitely need to treat them. That's the source of where they're coming from. And so we include that larvicide once a week. And then I also always have present in my growing area the yellow sticky traps that are a monitoring tool, but they also capture the adults. Fungus gnats cause problems. The larva eats the roots of your transplants. So you have to take steps. And I will tell you from past experience, you definitely want to prevent them, because if you get an outbreak, it is a mess to take care of. It takes about 14 days from the egg being laid to when you get an adult. So it is a really fast cycle, and they will get out of control really, really quickly. And then the other thing that I do is once my seedlings are moved off the heat mat under grow lights and they're starting to grow, they every week get some organic fertilizer in the watering can each week. I do follow the instructions on our seaweed fish fertilizer, and organic fertilizers are really slow fertilizers, which is why some people don't like them. Conventional people want a really quick, because their soil really doesn't have a support system anymore, so they need a really fast result, right? Organic fertilizer works really slow, and I really looked at it's like it's a very gentle fertilizer, and that's exactly why it's so key for me to use organic fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, when I'm growing little baby transplants, because it's really easy on them and it gives them just what they need. So once a week, so on Mondays, I put fertilizer in my watering can for all those that are either hardening off outdoors or under grow lights. And on Wednesdays, they all get Natrol. And again, keep in mind that this environment that you're growing your plants in needs to be warmer. 70 to 80 degrees for the growing phase really helps your plants to grow healthy and quickly. You don't want to grow them quickly because of fertilizer. You want them to grow quickly because of the environment. And when I say quickly, just you want them to progress so they can get out to the garden where they ultimately want to be. So friends, if you want to learn more about seed starting, soil blocking, or if you need the equipment to do all of the above, all the things that I've mentioned, you can find it all over at thegardenersworkshop.com. Ciao.